and all, I'm Alexis, aka The Sloth Reader, and I'm here today to do the Finally Fall book tag. As always, I will leave the original video down below. I've seen this resurface on a lot of people's channels recently, obviously. Since it is obviously the middle of fall being November, I figured now was a great time to go ahead and do this one, so that's what I'm here to do today. Question number 1. In fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. And for this one, I decided to go with Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. One of the most attractive things about this series to me is the world, and is how magical but also how political this world is, and the different factions in this island where the story takes place, and how these different factions interact with one another, and also how they live differently from one another, and how they live in different parts of the island. And yeah, I just find the setting of the story to be one of the best parts of the book. Question number 2. Nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. And for this one, I'm gonna go with a book that also has a really fallish cover, and that is Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. This follows 3 siblings who are all related via a biological mother, but they were all either adopted or grew up in foster care. And it's about the 3 of them getting to know each other and getting to learn more about their mother that they share, and how they all came to be part of their families, but each individual sibling is also dealing with something very different. It does tell you that one of the middle child, Grace, recently was pregnant and she gave up her baby for adoption, and so a lot of this book deals with her dealing with that and giving up her kid while mourning the loss of her child. Another one of the characters has an alcoholic parent that they deal with, and then one of the kids is also dealing with something that happened in their past. So there's a lot of heavy topics that are dealt with in this book, but I felt like Robin Benway did such a beautiful job at dealing with them in such a beautiful and respectful way. Number 3, fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. And I actually have a nonfiction video coming up soon where I recommend you guys some of my favorite nonfiction books. So this is a glimpse at one of my favorite nonfiction books, and that is The Woman with the Worm in Her Head, Other True Stories of Infectious Diseases by Pamela Nagami, Dr. Pamela Nagami. And this is Dr. Nagami's recount of some of the cases that she experienced as far as infectious diseases goes. She talks about, seeing really horrible cases of staph infections. She talks about experiences with parasites and a woman having a worm in her head. She talks about her first experiences with the AIDS epidemic when it first came about in the 80s. And you guys know I studied public health in school, and so infectious diseases, communicable and non-communicable diseases, both are something that very much interest me. And this is a really interesting read if that's something that interests you as well. Question number 4 is, in order to keep warm, it's important to spend time with people you love, and that is to name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you would like to be a part of. My answer to this question is kind of twofold, and I'm going to use The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, and I say that because I would love to be a part of the Gangsy, so I would love to be, part of the friendship group that is Gansey, Noah, Ronan, Adam, and Blue, and Henry. But at the same time, I also would love to be one of the women in 300 Fox Way, living in a house full of psychic women who are all so different and unique. Like, this sounds so interesting, and I would absolutely love to be a part of that. Number 5 is, the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. So I took this to mean orange, and I just pulled up a bunch of orangey books. So we have The Martian by Andy Weir, The Dark Circle by Linda Grant, Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins, Emma by Jane Austen, and The Poison Princess by Kersley Cole. Orange. Number 6, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. And for this one, I went with Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. In this story, our main character, Kath, is a fan fiction writer, and so in this story, we actually get to read snippets of the fan fiction she has written. But also in this story, she's actually reading those snippets aloud to Levi, who is her love interest in the book. So she is reading her own fan fiction that she wrote, both to us as readers and to Levi, because he's interested. Number 7, The Nights Are Getting Darker. Share a dark, creepy read. I'm gonna go with a recent read and love of mine, and that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. In this story, there is a paranormal villain who is ritualistically killing people as part of a cult. And there are definitely creepy scenes. I listened to this on audiobook, and that definitely upped the creep factor when the narrator is doing these voices, but she also just did a great job of capturing the creepy atmosphere of those scenes as well, so definitely The Diviners. Number 8, The Days Are Getting Colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. And for this one, I'm going to recommend one of my all-time favorite books, and that is Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. This is definitely a book that is very, very short, and it's very, very easy to understand. It's like 130 pages. But I love this book so much, and this book really is heartwarming to me. This follows a young girl named Winnie Foster as she is introduced to the Tuck family, who kind of live alone, secluded in the woods from her town. And she basically discovers that the Tucks actually are immortal, they never grow old and they never die. And she basically gets to know them, and she gets to know how they feel about their immortality, how some of them think it's a blessing and some of them think it's a curse. And Winnie just, you know, she grows up a lot with the Tucks and learning through them, and it's just, I just love this story so much. I also highly recommend the musical and the movie with Alexis Bledel because I think both are just really good, and I just think that the story is so sweet. Number 9, Fall returns every year, and that is to name an old favorite you'd like to return to soon. And I actually did an entire video about books I would like to reread, which I will link down below in case you're interested. But one just recently, within the last month or so, like I have just been so zeroed and focused on wanting to reread, is the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. And that's because Chelsea over at Chelsea Darling Reads, she's rereading the series, or she recently finished rereading the series in like September, and watching her talk about like revisiting the series makes me want to revisit the series so much. This is about our main character, Suze, and she is a medium, so she actually talks to ghosts, and so it's about her dealing with these ghosts, but also trying to solve the mysteries and complications that come along with them. And there's also a really swoony romance in this, and I just really want to reread these like really bad. The last question is, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights, and that is to share your favorite cozy reading accessories. There is pretty much one accessory that is an absolute must when I read, and that would be blankets. More blankets. More blankets. More blankets. And yeah, blankets. Alrighty guys, so that is the finally fall book tag. Again, it's fall. We are one step closer to winter, which is my favorite season. So I'm excited about it getting much colder. I love cold weather. Like, cold weather speaks to me on a soul level. I would love to hear in the comments below which book you guys think has a really vivid setting. I post videos on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll see you guys soon with another one.